Time this morning.
Yeah, is it right?
Internet's a bit slow today, but I see it.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's, people are back at work, but it is kind of.
There we go. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
So I think we are now live. We were having a bit of fun with technology this morning. I think the internet's a bit slow, so apologies if we have a bit of a freezy type of video live this morning. But I'm thrilled to welcome Amanda. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Jenny. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Loving this weather. It's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't it just gorgeous? Yeah.
Oh,
so Amanda's
fabulous.
here from a lovely company I met just over a year ago, I think.
Yes.
Called Georgian Dollar,
yeah.
and she makes the most gorgeous equestrian jeans. Honestly, it's the best thing you can put on your body, these things. They really are. So we're going to be chatting about Amanda's business. You're welcome. So we're going to be chatting about Amanda's business, how she started up, how come it is that she's making equestrian jeans, what it's all about and what's important to her. So Amanda, just tell us a little bit about Georgian Dollar then.
Yes, so Georgian Dollar came about, well, the idea came about 5 years ago. It's quite a funny story because I was living in Dubai. I lived in Dubai for 16 years, and I had my own horses over there, and I was when I first got my first horse, actually I'm 48 now, but I first got my very first horse of mine. I'd ridden all my life, but never had the opportunity to have my own horse. So I got my first horse, Teeter, at 40, and I'm a real jean wearer in my day-to-day life, and I'm just a happy hacker, and I wanted to just be able to just jump on the horse, yeehaw, cowgirl style, and kind of, ride. So at the time, I tried lots of different, just normal jeans, or a few other jeans, and I just couldn't find, either I was putting them up, or they were too tight around here, or just weren't comfortable enough for what I was looking for personally. And I was riding around. There was a big polo field we used to ride around in the club out there, and I was riding around with two friends and talking about it, and they said, why don't you set up your own, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want, why don't you do like an equestrian jean brand? And I thought, oh, it's not a bad idea, it's quite a good idea. So that's how the idea was born anyway. And so I knew that I wanted to wait until I got back to UK. It was something that I put on the shelf, and I thought one day I'll do it. Anyway, we moved back to UK about 2 years ago, and just over 2 years ago now, actually. And I just went for it. Literally, I just thought, this is the time. I'd kind of stopped working over there, and I thought, actually, this is the time. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So that's kind of how the whole thing came about. But yeah, I'll tell you as we go on. But it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure for sure. But yeah.
And so you have, this is such a common thing. I love this, is that you have an idea as a business, well, you're not a business person necessarily at that point, but you have an idea and you think, this is great. I can't find this thing, so I'm going to fulfill a need that I know I've got. Now, I know a lot of businesses think people need something, but they don't necessarily. So how have you found that? Do you find that people really need this product that you found you did?
Yeah, it's really interesting because obviously there are equestrian jeans around, but it's really, really interesting because actually I knew what it's kind of like, obviously you base an idea around what you think you need, but you never, until I launched, I never realized actually, and obviously you came to see me in Olympia, didn't you, when I had the stand at Olympia? It was so lovely to see you there. And actually it was really, I launched last July, and right from the beginning, I had people going, what a great idea. I've been really looking for a really good pair of equestrian jeans. But what was interesting was when I went to Olympia, that's when really people were coming up to me and saying, oh yeah, I've been meaning to come and see you. It's such a great thing because I just can't find a really comfortable pair, and I hear yours are really comfortable, and there's this element or that element. And so it sort of dawned on me that actually it was something that people had really been looking for, but there were the elements that were missing, I think, that I hopefully sort of, put into the design. Basically, there were lots of elements there because I think a lot of people just can, put on a normal pair of jeans and jump on a horse. But yeah, it was interesting because as soon as I launched, really right from the beginning, but especially at Olympia, because I met so many more people face to face, it really dawned on me that actually, yeah, I think people really appreciate the fact that I brought out these jeans, and there is a demand for them, basically. So yeah, that was quite an eye-opener for me, which is lovely to hear. So lovely to hear that, because obviously you know what you you find something because you want it, but it's lovely to hear that actually there's a demand for it in the market as well.
Yeah, and it's quite a risk, isn't it, to take, where you think there is a demand, but you're not entirely sure. Because I bet if you'd gone out there and gone, do people want equestrian jeans? Those people said, well, yes. But people say that, don't they? They quite often say, well, we do want something, but then when you produce it, they go, oh, well, actually, maybe not, or what have you.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you wanted them. So tell us about the specific design elements, because honestly, in all seriousness, I mean, I've had denim breeches. I wouldn't call them equestrian jeans. I've had denim breeches, and I've tried to ride in jeans and I just can't do it. I mean, the obvious thing with riding in jeans is the seams are in the wrong place for a start. They're too thick. They might be stretchy enough, but they're not fitted in the right places in the right ways. And they certainly don't have whatever it is, the grip that you use is just incredible. Because I keep trying to describe it to people when they say, oh, I don't like silicone grip. I'm like, it's not silicone grip. It's sort of, it is grippy, but it's not. And so there's definitely some things in your jeans. And I tell you the thing that I really loved about them. And I will stop just gushing about your products in a minute, but honestly, I love it.
Thank you. So lovely to hear.
I bought them at Olympia in December.
Yes,
and they fitted beautifully because we were playing around. I had my lovely Fairfax Amiras on, and we were playing with all the stuff.
Yes.
And so I bought a white pair and a jean pair, and I have worn the white pair for British dressage actually, and they were gorgeous to wear. They really were. I absolutely love it. It's a winter, because although they're not thick, they're not like a thin. No, obviously. But for winter they were just stunning. Anyway, so I bought these things, and then in January I went on my honeymoon, which was a 2-week cruise around the Caribbean. Well, you can imagine I put on half a stone. I wasn't too bad. I was really trying to be careful. Like I was trying to exercise as much as possible and all this stuff. But I did.
Your honeymoon. It's all about that. Yeah.
And I got home and I was like,
and enjoy yourself.
Exactly. And I thought, oh God, I hope these fit, because I adore these things. And I put them on and they've got so much stretch. I was like, oh, amazing. I can't believe these fit still. I was so thrilled. I remember messaging you going, they still fit even after a 2-week cruise. I love them. So tell us a little bit about all these design features in there.
So it's really interesting that you bring up the waistband as well, because the waistband element was the real thing that I found that I couldn't find, which wasn't stretchy, because I hate getting on a horse. I've got quite a thick middle, and I hate getting on a horse and feeling like all your, love handles and things like that are hanging over. And I wanted to feel, and also the other thing is that I didn't want them too hipster, because I've tried on jeans before where you're sort of cantering and you're sitting up in the saddle and you feel like, oh good goodness, I've got a bit of a builder's bum there. So it was like, I had to have the stretch, and they had to be super soft and comfortable. That was my main element. So the jeans are made up of 70% cotton. There's a lot of cotton in them, and that is the element. So basically it was the stretch in the denim, the softness of the denim, the fact that they would always go back into shape. That was the other thing. I really wanted them to maintain their shape, especially after multiple washes. That was a big thing. But the biggest thing as well is I wanted them to be flattering on everybody. I wanted you to put these jeans on and feel really sexy, because that's really important, I think, so that you can actually get off your horse. No, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I absolutely, I would just wear them as normal jeans, quite frankly. I'm considering another pair for that exact reason, because they're actually the most flattering pair of jeans I own, which is crazy. Really? Because I know I do live in equestrian stuff, but I don't want to literally live in it, but this is going to happen.
Yeah, but I love that, because that's exactly it. You want to get off the horse, you've got your boots on, you want to just literally go into the car, put your trainers on and go to the supermarket. You still feel like you're wearing a pair of normal jeans. And I know there's the lycra element at the bottom, but even if I've got my trainers on and my trainer sock things and my trainers, I still really love wearing them. And I think that was really something that I wanted to achieve. And that's why the sticky bum bit, all that area, is very, very subtle, so that it's not blazingly like, oh my God, she's been riding, or she's been with horses. But so there was lots of different elements that went into it. But the way that I've also designed this sort of the way the stitching is as well, it gives that elongates everything, so it's kind of like really flattering on everybody. And I think that's what I really wanted to achieve, because I think I really wanted every woman to feel really sexy in those jeans. And I think that's how the whole design element came around anyway. Because also when I wanted to sit in the saddle, I didn't want everything to go up over, whereas that stretch just, that stretch, especially in the waistband. And I'm like you, over lockdown, I put on a few pounds, but the jeans, you still get, oh, fantastic, I still get my jeans on. It's got enough stretch in the waistband. Thank goodness.
And there's nothing worse, is there, than the waistband being okay, but the previous ones I've had have like bagged around the bum eventually, or the waistband's been okay, but the rest of it is slid down, or they're just, but these wash, wear, hold their shape. I mean, honestly, they are just incredible. So clearly there's a lot of passion here from you about it. Tell us about where this passion comes from for you.
So my passion has been, I think firstly, my passion was being able to have my own horse. I think that's how it all started, because I'd ridden all my life, but never been able to be in a situation. My parents always worked overseas, and I was sort of back and forth and traveling all over the place. And I never was in one place to be able to have my own horse. So I think that started when I got Tita, which was, as I said, just when I turned 40. And that's really my passion for horses. Goes hand in hand with my passion for wearing what I want to wear and being comfortable in when I'm riding my horse. So I think that kind of connected for me. I'm very entrepreneurial. I always have been quite entrepreneurial, but interesting for me, I've never done anything retail, clothing, anything before. So I had no clue how to start. And that's why it was such a journey. But my passion to make, and I remember saying to people, I'm gonna do this. And I think, and you'd see people looking at me thinking, God, it's quite a risk. You've never done anything like this before. I think for me, when I set my sight on something, or I set my mind to something, I'm very good at just drowning out the negative, or drowning out those negative thoughts that go into your head. But yeah, my drive and my passion to make them a reality just got me through all the hurdles and the bumps along the way. But definitely it was my passion for riding and my passion for being comfortable in the saddle effectively. I'm a hacker. I spend a lot of time obviously just in the saddle, and that passion to create something that's comfortable, which were jeans, because I love jeans in my day-to-day. I always wear jeans. So something that I really wanted to wear all the time and look good in if I was out of the saddle as well. So really that it all kind of connected together to create this passion and this drive to create this product basically. And the other thing is I've got lots of friends, obviously the whites that you've got, lots of friends that play polo as well. So that's where they said to me, once I bought out the Sietas, the blue ones, a lot of my friends, especially in Dubai, a lot of my friends play polo. They were like, where are the whites, Amanda? Bring out the whites, So that was really like, that was where that came from as well. And that's an evolving design. I'm actually working on bringing out a slightly different white pair, which are kind of going to be sort of a slightly different denim, a little bit thicker than the ones I've brought out now. But I really, it's again, when I develop these jeans, it's about the denim. So the denim of the blue ones, it was quite difficult to match the exact denim on the white ones. So, but I got as close as I could, and I absolutely love those jeans. But I'm now really working on almost matching to the blue. So anyway, it's always an evolving process just to continue on improving on anything that I can improve on, basically. But the Sietas are definitely my main product. So that tends to get, because I think it's interesting with the whites. I think, like you say, if it's dressage and things like that, then they are popular, but it's particularly polo where they've really been the most popular, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, I did buy them as a risk to see whether or not they'd be all right to wear for competition. I mean, I would wear them, like, for instance, around badminton to walk around with a pair of Fairfax Explorer or something like that, and a nice, something, because they're a lovely pair of white jeans. But then at the same time, and of course they fit so beautifully, and they're not see-through, and all these awful things you get with cheapy pairs.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
Oh. And but one day I did. I was there with Katie Lawrence of Riviera PR, and she's a dressage diva, and I said, do you reckon I could get away with these BD? And she said, well, I don't see why not. They're white, aren't they? Like, there's no rule, is there? They look smart enough. They don't actually look like jeans once you've got your jacket and everything on. So I thought, I'll give it a go, and no one mentioned a thing. No one said a thing apart from my friends who said, are they jeans? When I was stood there You know, nothing when I was riding at all. And then I was like, yeah, they're amazing. They're like, oh my God, you can wear jeans to compete in. That's like life goals. I was like, no, it's incredible, isn't it?
But I love that, Jenny, because that's exactly, it's really interesting, because that was the plan as well. Obviously, I designed them to be whites and be hard wearing as well for polo players, because, and the feedback I get on that is one of my friends who literally, she calls them her lucky jeans because she plays polo in them all the time. But she says literally she'll get off them and they're not even that dirty. They kind of like, they wash up beautifully white again. And she said she just lives in them. She said one match she had to play, she had a tournament 5 days in a row. She only had one pair. She was like, I need to get 3 more pairs because I had to wear another pair of jeans. They were so uncomfortable. And we lost the match because I wasn't wearing my lucky whites. It was so funny.
Oh, that's brilliant. I have to say, I was incredibly impressed at how well they washed. I thought being a sort of a denim or something, they wouldn't come up as white because I thought they'd hold the, you know, I thought they'd hold the stones a bit. No, they are the best pair to wash without any doubt. I was literally amazed. I was like, wow, these are incredible, you know. But I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the sort of the mindset element again, because you said I'm really good at blocking out the negatives. And it does sound to me as though one of the things that I always say to people is make sure your goal is so big that the hurdles you have to overcome to get there just seem irrelevant because you've got this big picture. And clearly you have got this big picture. So how is it that you say, I just block out those negatives? Because I bet you've come across so many of them when you're, what you've actually produced here is a really simple idea, which is a pair of beautiful blue jeans and a pair of white jeans. I mean, they're not, this is not some massively like, innovative new product, is it? It's just the way you've done it. So how did you overcome that from other manufacturers or people that are doing similar, or, you know, anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I have always been that person where, and anyone that knows me really well will say this about me, I'm a very positive person in the way I live. I'm very positive. You know, I surround myself with people who are positive. And I think that's just who I am. And I've always been, when I have a goal and I have a vision, I just see it. I just literally focus so purely on that vision and making it happen. And with this journey, Jenny, there has been so many bumps along the way. I had one manufacturer that I went to who basically looked like they were going the right direction with it, and then when I got the stock order in, this was before I launched this, they were nothing like they were supposed to be, and I literally was like, this is a nightmare. So I had this whole journey that I had to get through. I mean, the whole thing took me 2 years, really a full 2 years, to get to the final product, to get to what I was really happy with, because there were so many elements. But along that way as well, there were so many bumps in the road. There were so many times where I was like, oh my God, it's just all going wrong. You know, it was all new for me. I had never done anything like this before. I just knew that what I wanted to create. But I also knew that I wasn't going to bring out something subpar. It had to be absolutely really good quality and exactly the design that I wanted. So I just would get up and focus on that and go, just keep going, keep going. And of course, you've got the person on your shoulder going, are you wasting your time? You know, is it going to be worth it? Well, you know, maybe it's not going to be that popular. You've always got that negative voice in your head. And I always say, there's a man inside my head that's like my bouncer, that's like punching away those negative thoughts. He's like, go away, punching them away, and like almost at the door of my mind to kind of say, off you go, we're not having you in here. And it's really funny. It's one of my things that I really imagine that as that's what's going on in my head. It's like this bouncer going, no, you're not allowed. And then that keeps me, it's really interesting. It just keeps me going. But I've always been so passionate about this brand and making it happen. And I think a year in, I'm still learning all the time. But I feel when I look back to the situation I was in a year ago, I'm like, God, I've come so far and I've learned so much. And I think it's now at the point now where I just I kind of think, okay, this is beginning to tick along, and I can see the benefits of it. And, you know, I feel that the brand's beginning to get out there a little bit, but it takes time and it's such hard work. And I think people don't realize as well how expensive it is. It's like, it's a lot. You know, I had a little tiny pot, and the pot just disappears, and you're just like, okay, how am I going to make this work? And there are so many challenges that you come along the way. Competition wise, I have so many brands that I admire, and I think I take inspiration from those brands. And I think, you know, they've made it happen. They've kept going, and they're out there and doing an amazing job. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm ever going to be that, you know, as big as they are or whatever, but I think that I really take inspiration from that. And I never see, it's funny, I never see anyone as competition, really. No one is me, no one is Georgian Dollar. There's only one Georgian Dollar. And yes, there might be other people that do similar things, but I think it comes down to just you believing in yourself and what you've created, and just focus on that. So it's interesting because, you know, I do get messages going, oh, have you seen this company have done this or this? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Move on. I don't let it get to me, and I don't dwell on it. And I think that's really important, because I think otherwise you can go, oh God, you know, oh, someone, you know, and I think I just admire them and go, that's amazing. That's fantastic for them. And I'm so happy for them. But for me, I just focus on my journey, really. So that's
and
what keeps me
when
going.
You've got a big goal, like you said, and you're so busy and there's so much to do, there's no time for, you know, thinking about, am I good enough? Is this okay? You've just got to keep cracking on, haven't you?
Yes, you have to. And I feel like I've got so many plans for the future now. You know, I'm bringing out a base layer. I've got some new jeans coming out autumn winter. So watch this space. So I've got lots of things that I'm working on now, and I'm just so excited and focused on that. It's an exciting journey. It's an exciting journey, and I get to meet amazing people like you, Jenny, which is even better. So.
Oh, bless you. That's very sweet. But just so anyone knows, neither of us pay each other for any of this stuff.
No.
I had to buy everything. In fact, I may have dropped a base layer into a basket recently as well, and a hat may have fallen in that same basket at the same time. But if you go on your site, you can get 10% off, can't you? Your first order.
You can,
so,
absolutely,
you know, hey,
10%
it makes it all worthwhile.
Definitely, absolutely.
So
I love it.
I was going to ask you about, so you said it took a couple of years before you came to launch. So, you know, anyone that's thinking about launching a business, obviously, you know, at the end of the day, a business for most people is an income, and an income pays for your horse and your mortgage, and it's always in that order. And, definitely. You know, so it's going to take a couple of years to develop this product. There's no income coming in at that point in time. No. And I think that can be what puts a lot of people off from developing such a great product. And especially if something comes back that's a bit subpar, they might be tempted to launch with that subpar because they've done it or they don't. How is it that you managed to stick with, you know, 2 years of product design before you launched the right thing for you?
I think it was just, again, a determination to just keep focused on what I wanted to do. And I think it's very easy to go, panic, I need to get it out there. Or I think there always is a slight worry that someone might do something the same and bring it out before you. I think that's always a slight niggle at the back of your head. But I think for me, I beavered away quite quietly. Like, my really good friends knew what I was doing, but I didn't go around telling everybody what I was doing, if you know what I mean. And I think that's important, because I think you've just got to focus on yourself and what your plans are, and drown out the noise a little bit. Because I think otherwise, if you speak to too many people, they could be like, oh God, I wouldn't do that because someone else might be doing that. Or, you know, I think that there can be that negativity. So I think for those 2 years, I just stayed. And I remember speaking to one of my best friends who lives in Dubai, and she was like, you just never let anything like get into your head. And she said, I think it's brilliant, you should do it. And now, a year later, she's like, look at you, like, you really did it. Like, it's so lovely to see that, she says to me, because you really didn't let any focus shift. And I think, but it's not easy, and it's not something that I'm not saying, you know, I think the thing is that I had a little bit of money put aside. So I kind of like budgeted for what I would need. Obviously, I'm very lucky. I've got massive support with my husband and things like that. But this was very much my baby. And I said, I don't want anything, this has got to be my thing, and I've got to literally make it work. And I think I had to prove that as well, because my husband's amazing and he supports me on everything, but there was an element where he was like, are you being a bit crazy here? Like, is this a massive risk? I was like, yes, it is a massive risk, but it's a risk I want to take. And now he's like, he's always been my biggest support and my biggest cheerleader, but I always was like, I'm going to do it and I'll do it. Don't worry, you get on, and I'll just going to beaver along and do this in the background. And I think that was, and I think the thing is that you've just got to, if you want to make it happen, there has to be a slight risk element. There's a risk in anything you do in life, isn't there? There's a risk. You walk out the door every day, there's a risk in everything you do. And I think it just, I would say that probably, and I think lots of people are thinking about their own business, obviously, if that I wasn't working. So I finished what I was doing in Dubai and I moved over here and I had nothing to lose, really. It was the time, if I was going to do it, I had to do it then. That was the biggest thing. I think I would recommend, if you've got a job, but you want to start doing something, then, keep doing your job, but do it as a sideline where you've still got the income coming in. Because obviously for me, financially, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to this is not going to be a big money spinner or at all, maybe not, but it might tick along. And I'm just so passionate about it. It wasn't always about that. It was just about bringing a product to the market that people really loved. And obviously you've got to make a bit of money. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could pay for my horse bills. That's really, that would be lovely. But those 2 years were just maintaining the focus, I think, because I knew, and actually it was the two girls that I spoke to about it on the polo field 5 years ago. They were really like, I said, I think I'm going to do it. And they were always right from there going, do it, do it, do it. And they both of them bought the jeans like right at the beginning. And I was just like, they were like, you did it. I was like, yeah, I did. So, I think it's just, maintain that focus. Sorry, I'm babbling. I tend to babble. Just tell me to.
No, there's no babbling at all. It's great. No, it's absolutely perfect. Which is, there's a few things I heard there, which is be really clear on what you want and just keep chipping away. Because I always say it's the sum of the small things that make up the big. Sometimes there are big leaps that happens occasionally, but it's definitely the chip stuff that really gets you there. And in order to keep going for that, you have got to know what the bigger picture is. You can't kind of hope you're getting somewhere, because you'll get so lost along the way that you're not going to get there. So that was one bit definitely that came through. And then the other bit was if you really want something, but you haven't perhaps got the stability, financial backing or what have you that you have, then do it in a way that you can, like anything is possible. Certainly for me, I set this business up. I'm in my 7th year now, part-time, whilst I was working in a massive corporate job, just to prove that it was viable and I could, and that I actually knew vaguely what I was doing. I didn't just like leave a job and set this up and hope it worked. So there's the option, but either way, what I'm hearing is it doesn't matter what your circumstances. If you know what it is that you want, you will keep going to get there.
Definitely. And I think it's a leap of faith, isn't it? You've just got to take that leap of faith. And I think you've just got to have that. And then there's got to be that entrepreneurial mindset, I think, but that real passion for it to succeed. I think passion is a big word. I think it drives everything that you do, doesn't it? When you own your own business and run your own business, and you have to be passionate about it. And I think for me, right from the beginning, I remember like even thinking about names, interestingly enough, and I right from the beginning, I wanted to think about a name that sort of really incorporated, what the brand was about. And I started off with one of my horses is called Macho, and it's his full name is Siete Macho. So first of all, I was like, oh, I like that. So maybe Siete Macho equestrian or something like that. Siete Macho. But then I thought, oh my God, Dollar is my daughter's pony, and I live my life vicariously, my childhood vicariously through Dollar, because I never was allowed to have a pony. Well, I'm not allowed, but I never had a pony when I was little. And he's just the most gorgeous cuddle-eyed, and he's just gorgeous. And his name is Georgian Dollar. So I was like, I love that. Bingo, there we go. So everything around the brand centered around my passion for horses, for my own horses. So I think once I had the name, I thought, this is it. And then I did everything myself. I did the logo myself. I have got an amazing team behind me, and I've got the most amazing website people who they're the most gorgeous couple, and they have been such a massive support right from the beginning. I mean, because I actually met with them it must have been almost about a year before I launched, and I met with them. I just wanted to get the website up. I think that's actually something that's quite important, actually thinking about it. Before I launched I got the website up and running so I could see it, not actually live, but I thought it made it a reality having the website ready. It was kind of like, and getting the website, that kind of really was a catalyst, I think, to actually, I'm going to make it happen, because I love the website, and it's got to be, that's all that goes with that. And I think it's making those steps to believe you're going to get to the end goal. Do you know what I mean? I think that's something that's really, really important, actually. But they were absolutely fantastic, and they're still a massive support, and they tweak it here and there and do whatever I need. And I think I'm not technical. I'm techie in some ways, like my social media I do all by myself and all that sort of stuff. But I think, from that perspective, I'm not great at websites, and they do that for me, and they're brilliant. And I think you've just got to see where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and just get the help where you can when you need it. Basically, I think that's the important thing, is not to say I can do it all, because just see where your weaknesses are and where you need to have that extra bit of support, basically.
And the only way to find out where your weaknesses are is to try stuff and go, maybe not. And that's okay. So what are your thoughts on sort of mistakes and failures, and how do you overcome them and stuff yourself?
I think again, it's been a real learning curve, I think, as I've said, and I think there have been failures along the way, and I'm always just go, okay, take a minute. I think my biggest thing is when I can go riding and clear my head, like just need to clear my head, walk away from it, and then clear head, how am I going to deal with this situation? And I think take it sort of head on, basically, because there's always a solution to every problem. And failure to me is something that's a building block, because then I learn from it and I build on it, and I think, okay, I'm never going to make that mistake again, and I move on. And again, I think it's the mindset and the passion that keeps you going and drives you forward, because you're so passionate about having that extreme. I mean, my brand values are quality, comfort, design, and I just have always been that. Has to be quality, has to be comfortable. Whatever you put on that's Georgian Dollar has to be super comfortable, and the design that goes around it. And I think if I'm not happy with something, then it's always got to just be, okay, take a beat. It might take another month, it might take another 2 months, but it has to be right. And again, it's just taking those failures, taking those challenges and learning from them, and building the blocks to just keep going. It's like it's a long and windy road, and you just have to keep walking down the road and keep going, and just knock out the hurdles on the way, and just keep going, basically. I'm always about moving forward and not looking back. I never ever look back. I mean, I think when we left Dubai, I loved Dubai. We had 16 years there, and people said, oh, you'll probably come back. I know I won't, because I'm very much like, when I move on, I move forward, and I keep moving forward, and that's very much how my mindset is.
So I was going to ask you then, I'm going to have to get you to look back, but look back in a really useful way.
Yes.
Which is, what's been your favourite bit so far of this journey?
My favourite bit, my goodness, there have been so many favourite bits. I think Olympia, obviously seeing so many amazing people at Olympia was one of my favourite bits. And I think that was kind of like when people were coming up to me, go, oh, I've heard of you, Georgian Dollar, I've seen you on social media, and I've heard of your brand. One of my friends got your jeans. I think that was I was so nervous about Olympia. Oh my God, I was terrified. And I think that's a classic example of me being like, I'm going to go to Olympia. I already launched in July. Let's go to Olympia. And then they were like, you got in. And I was like, I've got no bloody idea what I'm doing. What was I thinking? And I got the worst tummy bug at Olympia as well. So thank God my husband was there. And it was on the day that I was supposed to, I had one of my best friends coming to visit me from Dubai, And another one of my best friends from school turned up to surprise me, and it was the day I wasn't there. Anyway, so I got over that challenge. Thank God my husband was there to deal with it, because I was like, oh, this is awful. But I think basically the run up to it, the stress of it, everything, just because it's really long hours. It's a week, and it's just like, oh my goodness. But I loved it. And I met so many amazing people there. So that was really, really amazing bit. I think my favorite bits as well have been obviously on social media, seeing the amazing support that I get from that, the amazing people that I've met along all the way through Instagram, actually through social media. Whenever I get an email or a message, like I have this quite often, where a customer will actually take the time to message me on Facebook directly or email me and say, by the way, I absolutely love your jeans. They are just amazing. They're this or they're that. When people take the time out of their day to actually write to me, say that, those are my favorite bits. And those are the bits that I really hold on to and go, they're in my stomach. That's the fire in my belly. You know, I'm like, I love that. I love it so much. And when I say it means the world, it really does mean the world. You know, it really does. It means everything. So those are my favorite bits. Yeah, and just, I think it's interesting because I launched obviously a year ago, and obviously I recently did pre-orders on my base layers. And the difference from when I first launched it a year ago, and it was a bit like, you know, it was tumbleweed, you know, the tumbleweed thing going through the room, and it's like, oh, is anyone going to buy my jeans? You know, but you just got to keep going. And then when you bring out a pre-order, and people are like, oh, Georgian Dollar, oh yeah, I really want to start pre-ordering. That means everything to me. That's really great, because they're trusting in my brand. You know, they're trusting in my brand. They know, and I think that's been a really amazing thing recently that's happened. So there's lots of, it's generally been, I would say, 80% positive, 20% knocks along the way, but it's just focusing on holding on to those really positive things and putting them in your memory bank and thinking that's what keeps you going when you do, you know, we all do in life, don't we? We have knocks on the road or things that, you know, that happen. But yeah, so those lots of favorite bits.
Cool. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about then was, so you keep saying I'm very entrepreneurial, and there's an entrepreneurial mindset. So what to you then is an entrepreneurial mindset? What's this thing that we all keep talking about?
I think being an entrepreneur is, I think I'm not like, I wasn't the brightest spark at school, for instance. I'm not like, but I'm very practical. I'm a very practical person. And I think being an entrepreneur is thinking practically, and also thinking out of the box, and not, I mean, my dad's a banker. So as an example, my dad's a banker, and he doesn't, I'm so close to my parents, but he doesn't get that mindset of mine, for instance, because he's just like, he gets, you know, the money comes in, the money sits in the bank, and this goes into savings, this goes into whatever. I'm not that person. I literally think on my feet and just go, oh, I'm going to do it. And I don't think about the knock-on effect or the consequences. I honestly think that's what being an entrepreneur is. I think it's just like, it's being able to take the risk, or just take the risk and don't think about it too much. I think that's that. And I think often people say that work with, you know, I've worked with entrepreneurs before and things like that in a different business that I was doing before in Dubai. And I think the difference is they're not interested in, and some of the most successful entrepreneurs I've met, they're not interested in the nitty gritty. They're interested in the bigger picture. And I honestly think you can have a goal, you can literally look at that goal, but they're so focused on that goal. And I think that's what makes an entrepreneur. I think it's just, not necessarily, but you're not interested in that tiny detail of these little bits. It's about bringing it together and seeing that end goal. I think personally that's what makes an entrepreneur, and that's definitely the difference between me and my father, for instance, who's not entrepreneurial at all.
That's really funny and so similar, actually. No, I agree. I totally agree. And it's really funny because my father worked in banking as well. It was exactly the same. Yeah. So I'm like the maverick. But yeah, no, I think, and having spoken to so many amazing women, you know, entrepreneurs in these Q&As, is we often have long suffering other halves that just sit there going, oh right, what are you doing today? You are? Okay, that's nice, dear. Thanks. There's no point trying to stop you. They might have a word of caution or something, or they might, try and steer you or give you a point of view. And actually, you do sometimes need a point of view so that you don't just go down the wrong road. You do need that sounding board. But I think we, husbands, other halves, partners, whoever you've got that is in your group, they very often sit there and they just have that look of, oh God, what now? On their face, don't they? Literally.
Yeah. Toby has got the patience of a saint. So when I got my first horse, I was like, I'm turning 40, I'm getting a horse. He went, honey, really? I was like, yeah. And next week I went out and bought a horse. I got a horse. And he was like, oh, he's so used to me being like that. And literally, of course, now I've got 5. And he was like, okay, 1, stopping at 1. And then he just goes, okay, another horse. But with the business, exactly. He just goes, yes, dear, yes, yes, off you go. And I think I love that. But he supports me in everything. And then he goes, okay, like he's always on hand. And the other day I was like, oh God, I've got deliveries and I've got to get post office. He's like, I'll do it, don't worry, And I think that's the thing. It's like I'm so lucky. He's so laid back, and I'm just like I'm a bit like a whirlwind. I kind of away around, and he's just so chilled and kind of like just goes with the flow. And I think that's the thing, you need to have a man that's just going to be happy to like support you, and but also let you get on with it a bit and not be like too interfering, like I don't agree with this or I don't agree with that. I think you need someone that's just going to sit back and let you get on with it, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mine's a great sounding board because he will actually look at the risks of things sometimes, and he will actually just kind of go, oh, what do you think about that? And sometimes I go, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And other times I go, oh, yeah, that's probably a good point, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank God for him, because honestly, if it wasn't for him, I think we probably would be bankrupt. So.
No, but I think it's the same. I'm the same. He is definitely my reason. He's kind of like, okay, let's think about this. And I go, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way before. It's really interesting. And I think my children are 11 and 14, and my 14-year-old son is super fashionable. And so he's really good. So like when I had the base layer and I got my sample arrived and everything, and I was thinking originally I want the blue that I'm bringing out. I love the blue, but I was thinking maybe it should be a little bit darker, and he was like, no, it's absolutely perfect. Don't change it. Don't do anything. It's absolutely great. And I was like, okay, that's great. And actually for my children as well are really good sounding boards, because they have a different perspective of, what they, how they see things, or how they, and their opinion matters. But my husband's the one, he's said the same. And I think you have a vision of something and then you go, actually, okay, we can tweak it slightly to be like that. And actually it's turned out brilliantly. It's exactly what I wanted. So it's really interesting, isn't it? You've got to have those people in your life, I think, just to give you that sort of difference of opinion, really, which is a good thing. And
I often, when I'm coaching people with business stuff, because I will coach equestrian businesses and things, because very often if you're a rider or you're doing something, your business or your job or whatever it is you're doing will affect your performance in your riding. So it's often something that we end up getting into. And I do say to them, look, when you're on your own in a business, even if you've got a business partner or something, but very often when you're on your own, you still need your board. You still need your board of directors. Definitely. And that's what you have in a business. You have. And the reason that board meetings, I've sat in many, so I know how heated they can get very heated, because you have all those different perspectives and opinions. So you've got your financial director, your marketing director, your sales director, your customer service director, and all these things and all these different opinions. But you do need that sounding board, don't you, when you're on your own? Otherwise, it is just your idea and you forget to kind of consider the other perspectives and elements. So, yeah, like you say, you need that team, don't you?
Absolutely. You really need that team behind you. And I think it really helps to have that, because as you say, when you're on your own, it really helps to have that sounding board, just to get that second opinion on things. And I think that's important. And I've got great friends as well who are always there to listen to me, banging on, or, like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm always wittering on about something or other. And they're like, okay, let's talk about it this way. Let's do one at a time, Amanda. Like, let's go through it, And I think that's really important as well. I think that's really important.
Cool. Yeah. So one question for you then from me before we just finish off is, what's the future then? So you say you've got all sorts of plans now. Obviously no secrets to be given away here. It's really important, like you said earlier.
No secrets.
So you've got a couple of pairs of jeans and a belt and a hat and a base layer, and there's another particular type of jean. And some people will go, well, surely that's it. But I don't think from you that'll ever be it, will it? So where do you see the future of Georgian Dollar being?
I've got so many different jeans I want to bring out. So that is like, And it's interesting because I get, and my customers and my audience really help me with that as well, because I get messages on Instagram saying, are you going to bring this up, or this element or that element? So I think that the feedback's always really good. But so basically the plan is that I'd like to, obviously with the base layer now, so you've got like almost a really good outfit. The reason with the base layer is I think I wear base layers personally all year round, whether it's cooler in summer or, you know, in winter time with obviously jumpers and stuff on top. The plan is I'd love to have like almost a really good outfit that goes with your jeans kind of thing, you know, like, so obviously the base layer, then you've got the belt, and then you've got the jeans, and that would really go, the base layer would look really nice with the white jeans as well. There's all sorts of different things going on in my head, and I've definitely got a new line going to be coming out in autumn winter, which I'm working on at the moment, and then I've got a couple of other things that I'm thinking about bringing out to make more of an outfit. But I fundamentally, Jenny, and this is where I've got to be careful, because I always want to be, I am an equestrian jean brand, that's what I am. So I think I've got a couple more things that I want to bring out, and then that's going to be it. And then I just focus on continually developing the jeans. That's really what I want. That is my passion. That is what I'm about. But I think it's also like, I have had people say to me, oh, what about this or what about that? I'd love to get that from Georgian Dollar. So like I'm going to bring out in the next month, I'm going to bring out a hoodie. That's a bit of a secret thing, because I live in hoodies myself, and I've definitely got a design in mind that I'm working on that I'd like to do. And again, it would look really nice with the jeans when it's a bit chilly or whatever. So I think there's a couple more things that I'll bring out, and then I'll do work on different elements of that design moving forward. And then I'm going to just focus then on bringing out lots of different jean lines. Basically, that's going to be my plan. Jeans. So yeah, that's the exciting thing, and that's my core product. So I'm always going to be an equestrian jean brand, basically. That's what I am. So,
and I think again, that's so exciting. But when you are entrepreneurial, I certainly found this at the beginning of what I did, is actually it's a bit like a child in a sweetie shop. Sometimes you think, oh, I could do this and I could do that, and you've got the freedom to do whatever you want, but sticking true to that core brand of what you're about. Otherwise you end up confusing your customers, and your new customers don't really know what you are. So so you're in equestrian dollar is.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly it. And that's my full focus, and that's what I'll continue to do. So I think that's the thing. And I've been very conscious of that. And that you could just go crazy with it. But I know what two things I'm going to bring out, and then that's it. And then I'm bringing out a new jean line, autumn, winter, and then I will just focus on continuing with the jeans. And that's going to be my focus from then on. So then I'm stopping. Then with the other things.
And so then, I mean, you did Olympia. Were there plans to do other shows and things this year? Have they been thwarted by COVID, or what's happened to you in respect of it?
It's a really interesting one, Jenny, because obviously I loved Olympia last year, and I have been invited to go back, but I don't think I'm going to do it this year. And I think it was just because it was a lot before Christmas with getting everything ready and everything. And I think, and I want to be there myself. I want to do it myself, but it really takes me and my husband out for the week. And it's because he's brilliant. He's brilliant, all that sort of stuff. He's actually really helped me get the stand looking amazing. He's fantastic at all that sort of thing. So it's really helpful for me to have him there. So I think I probably won't do it this Olympia this year, but future moving forward, I'd like to get involved in a couple of the big events that happen. It'll be next summer now, but I was meant to go to a polo event in June. Actually, that was supposed to happen. I was going to have a stand there, and then, but I think as of next year, I'll probably focus on one or two things. I think the biggest thing with stands, and I really want to be able to do it, but I think actually it's just the element of time sometimes, and it's a lot of traveling, and it's a lot here that I need to also organize to get put into place in order to be able to go. And I think that's going to be my focus for next summer. So next summer I definitely want to do 2 or 3 things, but I think it's quite difficult to get into the ones that I'd like to get into. I'd love to do badminton, I'd love to do Burley, but it also is very expensive. Obviously, as a tiny brand, it's really expensive to get into these events. So it's the goal that I'm working towards, but I'm going to be quite niche about what I do events wise. But I think the events are really important because I think you really get to meet people then, and to meet other brands, which I think is really lovely. And that's what I loved about Olympia. But yes, sadly, I'm not going to be at Olympia this year.
Yeah, and I think one of the things with a product like yours is it's so tactile. That being able to feel them and try them on. I mean, once they're on, like, I should think you probably have people leave the stand that go, no, I'll just I think I did actually. I'm fairly sure I just said, I'll just take labels off and wear them.
You walked off with them on. You did. It was brilliant. You were like, I'm just going to keep them on. And
it was so comfy. I was like, oh, I'm just going to wear these.
I loved it so much. It was so brilliant. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah, so that's quite handy.
Visits to the stand that week. It was so funny. So much fun.
Memorable, always memorable.
Yeah, I love it. But no,
okay, so we've covered so many things. Is there anything you wanted to talk about or cover, or anything you wanted to say to anyone, or words of inspiration or wisdom or anything like that that you would
I just wanted to say thank you to you for having me on, Jenny. I really enjoyed it, and it really means a lot that you invited me on. Thank you. And just, if you want to do it, you just got to take a leap of faith and stay positive and focus on. I read the Rockefeller Habits. Have you read the Rockefeller Habits years ago? They call it a big fat hairy. They call it a big fat hairy audacious goal.
Yeah,
and that's the way you've got to look at it. Just keep that goal in mind, but follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. I believe in the magic of dreams. I think you just got to follow it and just keep focused and make it happen. If you want to make it happen, and you will make it happen. But I'm very grateful for all the support I have in my life, and very grateful for all the support I get from lovely people like you. It makes such a difference. Honestly, it's everything, because the brand is about the people that want to buy it, that want to buy the brand. That's what it's about. It's all about you guys at the end of the day. So yeah, absolutely. I'm very lucky.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. It's been absolutely brilliant. And if people want to get hold of you, find out more about the brand, how can they do that? Where are you?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram at Georgian Dollar. I've got a Facebook page, Georgian Dollar, and my website is www.georgiandollar.co.uk. So those are the best ways. My email, you can always email. We've got customer service at georgiandollar.co.uk, but also DM me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm always available generally.
Super. And so people want to have a look, they can have a look, and currently they can buy the jeans, the cap and the belt, and pre-order the can they still pre-order the base layer? Yes,
they can, and the orders are going to be going out first week of July. So yeah, absolutely. Yay. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super.
Well, thank you,
thank you so much, Amanda. It's been an absolute pleasure.
My
and good fun. Great fun.
It's been so much fun and really lovely to chat to you, Jenny. Thank you so much.
Your passion and your enthusiasm is infectious. So hopefully if anyone's listening to this podcast on a morning when they're maybe not feeling so up, they will now be feeling up and inspired, and maybe feel that actually they're going to go for that big hairy dream.
Definitely. Oh, I would love that. That's fabulous. That's what it's all about.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Amanda.
Jenny.
Take care.
It's been a pleasure. We'll
Bye.
catch up soon.